Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, December 19th, 2024. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves says that St. Vincent and the Grenadines' revenue is performing well, with an increase of 15.3%. However, spending has also increased by 24%. The Prime Minister disclosed these figures while reporting on the fiscal outturn at the end of November 2024 during an interview on NBC Radio on Wednesday.
Capital revenue and grants together have gone up. So even though the revenue and grants went up by 15.3%, total expenditure went up by 24.2%. Mm-hmm. Of that number, current expenditure went up by 12.3%, and capital spending went up by a whopping 70% compared to last year at this time, at the end of November. In fact, the capital expenditure by the end of November, the amount which so far has been journalized is 296 million. Compared to 174 million for last year.
The Prime Minister stated that capital expenditure accounted for the largest portion of the spending, which will set a record for the country.
About $450 million or more by the end of the year on capital spending. That would be a record. Last year was a record. And the year before was a record, and before. We're doing pretty well on the capital spending, which of course is largely monies which we borrow, build the port, doing with the hospital, you know, the schools, the clinics, the Sea and River defenses, big ticket, the roads, both on the Kuwaiti roads, Kuwaiti and Ophir roads, and also on the Taiwanese roads, and some others too.
The Prime Minister also added that the current account deficit has increased and explained that the rise in revenue is due to grants and an increase in taxes.
Revenue and grants went up by 15.3%. compared to November last year, the end of November last year. And of that component, current revenue went up by 8.4%, basically across all categories of taxes, you know, corporate taxes. Even though we have brought corporate taxes down, we collected more.
Okay.
The company is making more profits. You know, we brought the corporate income tax down from 40% to 28% in stages over the last quarter century. And every time you do it, you're collecting more money.
Prime Minister and Minister responsible for national security, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, says that plans are underway to form a national gun crime intelligence unit. Speaking on NBC Radio, he explained that this initiative is part of efforts to combat the rising gun crimes in the country.
We're always looking at ongoing reforms. For instance, one area, we have to set up a national, there's a regional CARICOM crime, gun crime intelligence unit. We're going to set up a national one. And I have spoken to the commissioner about us revamping what a special branch, you know, and make it more modern and intelligence driven, and to work closer with the major crimes unit in relation to intelligence on criminal matters.
The Prime Minister added that Budget 2025 will allocate additional resources to the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, the RSVGPF, including the provision of cameras.
So there's a whole network there which we can fine-tune better. We provide our vehicles this year. We have more vehicles to provide, more equipment going to come in the budget, more cameras. In fact, that was discussed yesterday with the Taiwanese. I think another 100 and something, maybe 150 have come in. And what we have to make sure is that more of them are in the quote-unquote hotspots. Not necessarily those where it is most convenient from a technical standpoint to put them. Johnny P. And we continue to improve on the training of the police officers.
Commissioner of Police Enville Williams is of the view that certain types of music played on the airwaves are having a negative impact on the youth in this country. This comes as the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force explores ways to address violent crimes in SVG. At a recent press conference, the Commissioner urged all radio announcers and DJs to be mindful of the music they play.
About the issue of crime, and Mr. Benjamin was talking about the gangster mentality that comes from some people. And one of the issues you'll find is, I want to address the morning radio and the radio shows in particularly, and bus drivers too. The music that is emanating from the airwaves, the music that is glorifying violence, killings, and violence against women and children. We must take stock of what we are putting out in the public domain, because it is creating an impression on the young minds. And when this is done, then they go back and try to recreate what they're listening. Imagine getting into a bus coming to school from say, Spring Village, where I'm from, and you're hearing this violent rhetoric all the way up to Kingston, when you get into Kingston, and all the way down at the end of the day, it is repeated to you.
Williams also noted that the holistic approach being taken by the SVG-PF to fight crime must be carried out through partnerships. And
I really want to encourage the radio operators, the DJs, to be mindful, to be thoughtful of the music you play. I know they're going to beat me up tomorrow morning, but so what? I want them to partner with us, because it must be a whole of society approach, and we must inculcate their views in the grand scheme of things as we address the issue of crime and violence. DJs, listen to the music you're playing and cheat with what you're playing, because it is creating an impression. Talk show must be more accommodating, morning talk shows must be more accommodating, and stop being this all-out confucius thing.
The SVG-PF plans to roll out a number of programs in 2025 as part of its efforts to combat crime, particularly gun violence. In the 72 hours weather outlook, the SVG Meteorological Services says moisture levels would fluctuate over the next few days across our islands, resulting in occasional cloudy skies and abrupt light to moderate shower activity. Breezy conditions are also likely to persist within the next 24 hours. The Met Services says although this could facilitate short spells of showers, varying intensities may affect the execution of some outdoor activities. Residents are asked to remain alert. The outlook also notes that a mixture of sunshine and cloudy conditions are likely from Saturday. Moderate to fresh east-northeasterly to easterly trades are crossing our islands, slightly decreasing on Friday. Wind direction is expected to shift to east-southeasterly on Saturday. Seas are moderate to rough in open water, with swells ranging between 1.5 meters and 1.8 meters on western coast and peaking near 2.8 meters on eastern coast. Small craft operators and sea bathers are asked to exercise extreme caution for above normal sea swells and occasional gusty winds. Moderate sea conditions are anticipated along Friday. In addition, slight Saharan dust haze concentrations will continue to cross our islands during this forecast period, thickening from late Saturday. Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves is making an appeal for consideration of the cost to clear barrels, especially during the Christmas season. The Prime Minister noted that there is typically an increase in barrels during this time, which makes the process tedious and lengthy. However, he emphasized that the financial situation of people should be taken into consideration for the cost of clearing and transporting barrels.
And he said to me that normally they will get about 35,000 barrels, but he sees an uptick. He's saying, of course, the boxes, when you add them, is about 40% of that. What I want to appeal to people who help in clearing the documents, helping persons to clear for the barrels now. Go easy on people, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes they charge a little too much, I get that complaint. And some of the fellas with the pickups charge a little too much, it appears.
Yeah.
So I'm making an appeal if they can be
Like more lenient.
as good as possible in all the circumstances, within the spirit of Christmas. Naturally, the people have to be paid for their time. People who have the vehicles, it's expensive to run a vehicle. So I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just making an appeal for consideration, and which is the best I can do in these circumstances.
The Christmas barrel concession ends at the end of January. The SVG Port Authority has noted that hundreds of barrels are cleared every day and is urging individuals to clear their barrels as soon as possible, even as it extends the hours of operation. The livestock component of the UBEC SVG Food Insecurity Project reached another significant milestone on Tuesday, the 17th December 2024, when a total of 18 cattle arrived at Argyle International Airport from Miami. The cattle species consists of 2 Black Angus males, 4 Black Angus females, 2 Red Angus males, and 10 Red Angus females. Deputy Chief Agricultural Officer and Technical Focal Point for the UBEC SVG Food Insecurity Project, Colville King, highlighted the initiative's dual objectives, which include establishing a reliable breeding program and supplying superior genetics through artificial insemination. According to King, this approach will enable many cattle farmers to produce cattle with higher carcass weights, potentially increasing from the current average of 400 to 500 pounds to as much as 700 pounds. Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Rural Transformation, Industry and Labor, Saboto Caesar, emphasized the importance of food and nutrition security in the face of climate change and natural disasters, which have impacted local food production. He praised the Ministry of Agriculture's technical staff and veterinary department for their efforts in sourcing and selecting the breeds. Minister Caesar indicated that plans are in place to collaborate with the SVG Cattle Association and other stakeholders to expand the national herd. He also said that farmers will receive technical assistance and support to develop business plans, secure loans, and maximize production. The minister expressed confidence that by the end of 2025, cattle production will see substantial growth and urged farmers to collaborate and work collectively to achieve this objective. The SVG Food Insecurity Project seeks to enhance food and nutrition security by increasing the production and productivity of chosen commodities, particularly among business-oriented small farmers and fishers. The project is being implemented by the Economic Planning Division of the Ministry of Finance, Economic Planning and Information Technology, with technical support and coordination by the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Rural Transformation, Industry and Labor. It is being financed through a loan from the World Bank. The importance of gratitude was emphasized by psychologist Dr. Joselle Miller during NBC Radio's face-to-face program this morning. Dr. Miller stated that many people spend time focusing on what they don't have, forgetting to show gratitude for what they do have. She explained that this mindset can be a leading cause of many psychological issues.
By practicing gratitude, you allow your brain to shift from the negative emotions like resentment, anger, envy, regret, and it encourages an appreciation for what you have, which replaces those feelings of lack or dissatisfaction. Often we see so many persons just focus on what they do not have, what is not there. But what about what you have? making the most of what you have until things changes, Gratitude increases your joy and your contentment. It helps you to feel happy and satisfied. And contentment is, finding that peace in your life, that you may not have everything that you want. It may not be going 100% the way you want it to go, but you still give thanks and you're at a place of peace knowing that things can change and things will change eventually.
Dr. Miller said that practicing gratitude can have health benefits, such as reducing stress.
What is important as well, that research shows that grateful individuals tend to have lower levels of stress, which means your immunity is strengthened, because stress in itself releases cortisol in the body, and cortisol can then help aid in persons becoming sick because you create a lot of inflammation in the body. But when you're grateful, then the stress is reduced and your immunity, your immune system improves, promoting better physical health.
She encourages everyone to show gratitude this holiday season and beyond, reminding them not to focus solely on what others have, but to be thankful for what they have. As the 9 Mornings festivities continue across the country, SVG-TV News was in Barley this morning. In the community, many people who showed up were visiting nationals, and for some, it was their first time attending the event.
This is the soccer field, so it was a little bit different, but I've never seen this before. But it's nice. I love it.
So he said he's never seen the 9 Mornings here before?
Yeah, I've never seen it before.
Excellent. So
good morning, Barley. My name is Damali Brown, originally from Curtin Hill. I live in the UK. And it's nice to be here every morning.
Every morning?
Here every morning. I want to go upstage.
Many of the visiting nationals participated in the activities, with some competing for prizes.
Well, I come back occasionally, but I've been away about maybe 12 years.
12 years? So the lyrics I want you to translate. You don't have to sing it. Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Say that in dialect. I have to flap your tongue here because I tell Mary, you know.
Mary, you better know that your picnic would have one day walk on water.
She dead, go not you? She dead.
Good morning, it's 9 Morning. My name is Queenie, I'm from Curtin Hill, and I've been in Canada for 15 years now.
Ooh. You know I'm 15? So you've been in Canada for 15 years. Can you speak French?
Me, Papa.
So you never hear no French in Canada?
But we can speak.
Yeah, but because do you know parler no français? On partit en pointing and tray. And the dog turn over your pot and you start to bawl because the dog throw your ham. Bawl trying.
Yeah.
And because you could get more pot, you start bawling.
There are 5 more days left for the 9 Morning celebrations. On December 24th, the winners will be announced at Heritage Square.